All right. Hello, everyone. Um, it is currently September 30th, 8:55 p.m. I decided to make this video before I go to sleep. Tomorrow, October 1st, at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Padres will be playing against the Cubs. Dylan Cease will be our Game 2 starter. Now, if you watched today's video, which if you're watching this right now, it is yesterday's video, you saw how frustrated I was, and I'm still frustrated at the moment. I recorded that video a couple of hours ago. And I have been watching some of the post-game interviews for the Game 1 Padres game against the Cubs. And, this, for the videos that I've watched so far, I don't sense any sort of desperation from the team, which is a good sign, but I also don't see any confidence, Desperation has been one of the few problems I've noticed in the past few years for the Padres, where they are in a situation where they have to win and they they say they are not panicking, but you can tell that they're panicking just by the way they're playing. I didn't sense that in the way they were talking, but I sensed no confidence. The way I was sensing this is, there were some players, I'm not gonna mention any names, that were just talking, and they were just basically like, if tomorrow they have to win, obviously, but the way they were talking, they didn't say it, but the way they were talking was just like, what, if the season is over, it's over. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be here this year with next year, but with the Padres, I'm gonna be a free agent. I'm gonna move on to another team. I'm gonna get my contract, and I'll be focusing on winning another World Series with another team. With the core group, I've been sensing mostly like, this is just another year. One of the things I've been hearing other players say, if once they lose, they get eliminated. They basically say like, we didn't play up to our expectations. But it doesn't matter. We're gonna focus on next year, and they just talk about next year. We're gonna prepare for next year, and next year will be our year. Or they don't necessarily say next year is gonna be our year, but they're like, we're gonna focus on next year. We're gonna like this year, like even though they lost that very same day, like a couple hours ago, and it's gonna happen the same thing this year if the Padres end up losing. Like we didn't play to our. You're gonna hear this from everyone. They're gonna be saying we didn't play to our expectations. We failed the fans, and we're just gonna focus on next year. That is such a bullshit response that we've been hearing for many years. I am sick and tired of listening to the same thing. We are wasting Machado's prime years. We are wasting Bogaerts' years, what years? He hasn't been playing good for us. Cronenworth has been a no-show since he got his big contract. Tatis, this game 1, but he didn't do anything the first game. We're wasting good years from good players. I am sick and tired of listening to the same thing. I do not trust on Dylan Cease pitching for us game 2. I feel like he could care less. If he loses, doesn't matter. I'm not going to be here next year. The Padres will not offer me a contract. I'll be signing somewhere else. I'll be focusing on that team that signs me to win the World Series. This year doesn't really matter. That's the way I was interpreting it. Same thing with the rest of the players. Arias looks like he wants to be here. I hope he stays here. Most likely they won't. New ownership. Basically same ownership, but new leaders basically. They are not Peter Seidler. They are not willing to overspend and go over budget to have a winning team. Do I blame Peter's brothers for that? No, I don't. You can have a winning team with being under the luxury tax. If Dylan Cease, for whatever reason, has a miracle day and pitches well, because he hasn't been pitching well for us in the postseason in the past, if he pitches well, it is up to the hitters to perform. Whether he pitches good or bad, it is up to the hitters to perform. If Dylan Cease gives up 4, 5, 6 runs in 4 innings, it is up to the hitters to have his back. If he pitches a 6-7 inning game, most realistically a 6 inning game, and gives up 2 runs, maybe 3, it is up to the hitters to have his back and produce some runs. I am sick and tired of this. Have the team performing and the other team just not doing shit. I love Mike Shield because he has his players' backs. But this is just, you don't want to throw them under the bus, obviously, right? You are their leader. The last thing you want to do is throw them under the bus. You want to have their back. But honestly, I am just sick and tired of saying, the season's over. This is just my prediction. I'm going to be posting this at 11 p.m. in the morning, an hour before the game starts. This is just my predictions. If we lose, they're going to be saying, we had a good season. Unfortunately, we didn't perform to our expectations. We apologize to the fans, and we'll focus on next year. I am sick and tired of that answer. But what can we do? Play better. It is easy for me to say. Here's the thing that I've noticed. You either push yourself too hard to overperform. That's one that I've noticed the team doing a lot for years. Or 2, the season starts. Does this sound familiar? The season starts, you underperform, and you say, you know what, it's barely the beginning of the season. All the fans are complaining, they're just fake fans. You can leave the bandwagon. Only the real fans will be here once we start winning, and you miss the playoffs. You are overconfident. You have to be confident to a level that is healthy and balanced. You cannot be overconfident. You cannot be cocky. You cannot panic. Baseball is a very mental sport. I can't talk about any other sport, right? Because I haven't played any other sport. But baseball is mostly mental. You have to be confident in yourself, believe in yourself to a point where you're not too cocky. You know your true talents. And you cannot be panicking. It is a balance that is very hard to accomplish. That's why there's not many people who can go up to the majors and have a long career, a successful career. There's a very few amount of players that can do that. There's a very few amount of players that can have good careers, but when it matters the most, when it's the postseason, they can actually come in clutch. Kiki Hernandez, he's not a Hall of Famer, for sure, but damn, he comes in clutch in the playoffs. I am speaking, look at the way I'm speaking to you guys. I am speaking to you guys like we already lost. I am not confident in this team. I cannot be confident in this team. I am confident in the bullpen. If the starting pitching does amazing, if then Cease does amazing, and then the fucking lineup produces runs, but for whatever reason our bullpen blows the game, I cannot fucking blame them because they have been fucking amazing for the whole season. They blew the game at the wrong time. I cannot blame them. I can blame the lineup for not producing runs. I can blame the starting pitching for blowing some of the games. But I cannot blame the bullpen for one game blown. That's pretty much it. Hopefully we win. If we do, I'll see you in game 3. If we don't, I'll still be making videos. If I'm motivated. I'll see you next time. Have a good night.